We got 2 for the price of 1 this week. The group gets split into 2 and 2 players are voted out of the game. The stakes are high and it shows in an emotional tribal council. Sometimes real life issues bleed into the game of Survivor. It is a social experiment after all. Will the big alliance survive the fallout of the double tribal? Let's have a look at the top 5 moments of the 9th episode of Survivor 42.
Top 5, top 5, baby. Top 5, baby.
The vote last week was pretty cut and dry, but 2 people still got votes. Romeo got 3. It confirms to Romeo that he's on the bottom. It's still not pretty clear why he's at the bottom. We saw that Romeo is very paranoid, but I don't know if that is the only reason. Either way, he deals with it well enough and it seems to be keeping his paranoia in check. He's keeping up appearances and is trying to find cracks in the big group. Romeo just has to be patient and hope he stays in long enough for the big players to target each other. The other vote was Romeo's vote for High, and oh boy, did that vote not land well with High. While Romeo handles getting votes well, High does not. After Tribal, he goes on a public witch hunt and calls out Romeo. High might be right that Romeo voted for him, the way he goes about it can hurt his game. It seems to me more and more that High is a bull in a china shop when it comes to his strategy. He takes risky decisions like voting out his close ally Lydia and is very aggressive in his approach to others. It's destroying his social game. When High gets targeted, he might find he doesn't have as much allies as he thinks to keep him safe.
All these people are fake, I don't like any of them, so I have to put on a fake happy smile and pretend that it's all good. It's all good if you voted for me, you know, when in reality I want to like kick them in the face.
Just 2 weeks ago, we said that Roxroy needed to make a move if he wants a chance of winning. He must have heard us, because he does just that this week. Roxroy feels like the time is ripe to form an all-male alliance. The men outnumber the women 6-4, so it makes sense number-wise. Not everyone is on board though. Omer rightfully points out that he'll be outmatched in the challenges at the end. High as well is not feeling very warm to the idea of a bro alliance. I applaud Roxroy for making a move, and I appreciate the callback to old school Survivor with his idea of an all-male alliance. However, I don't think this works anymore in modern Survivor. Surely not in the way Roxroy presents it. In his pitch to Omer, Roxroy presents the idea as a lecture, a clinical idea not taking into account everything that has happened so far, and the interpersonal connections and history everybody has. A male majority isn't enough to make this work. The trust has to be there, and for these bros, it just wasn't.
Roxroy's like, listen up buddy, how many guys are there? Hint hint, like, guys alliance, like so obvious. I don't know why nobody's done this in 40 seasons. I'm like, are you insane, Roxroy?
This week we're splitting the group in 2. One of each will leave and one of each will win immunity. In a true battle against the elements, the players had to balance on a triangle floating on the sea as long as they can. Not that long at all, as it seems. The sea was extremely rough with a lot of wind. Half of the players fell immediately with only a few staying on for a while. It's another proof that this season is the first season that really shows the monster that this rebooted Survivor likes to talk about. After 2 Tory wins, it's Jonathan who's back on top. After another impressive showing, he once again profiled himself as the challenge threat he is. At this point, he might as well go all out on these challenges and win them all. Right now, he's still protected by the big group and Taku 4. When that falls apart, I can't imagine nobody targeting him. This episode, Jonathan also didn't do his social game any favors. As Jonathan's challenge resume rises, his social stock goes down. In the end, Jonathan will need his social game more than his challenge prowess if he wants to survive.
Oh yeah!
You've been waiting for this.
I've been waiting. Come on, Mr. Jeff.
The first tribal is much more cut and dry than the other one. It consists of Omer, Mike, Hai, Roxroy and Romeo. Romeo seems the clear boot. Hai really wants him gone, but Omer sees something in Romeo. An opportunity he doesn't see with Roxroy. Roxroy has pitched the Bro Alliance that Omer doesn't want anything to do with. Omer also doesn't see Roxroy as someone he can work with. So for Omer the target is clear, Roxroy. Even though I agree with his view on Roxroy, I do worry that Omer is putting too much faith in Romeo. Romeo is a free agent that will do whatever he has to, even turn on Omer. Voting out Roxroy is easier said than done. Hai really wants Romeo gone, and Mike is a stick to the plan kind of guy. Just like last week, Omer goes to work and convinces Hai to see the opportunity in Romeo and not make the emotional decision here. Very impressive work here again from Omer, who not only makes the social connections but uses them in his favor. They get Mike on board as well, and just like that the vote is flipped. With a 4-1 vote, Roxroy is sent to Ponderosa. Roxroy was the loyal follower. He wasn't the man with the plan. His vote to keep Swati could have hurt his game, but it cemented Roxroy as someone who would stay loyal. It is probably why Drea included him and not Romeo in the big alliance of 8. At Exile it became clear that Roxroy was made for the survival part of this game and not the strategy. When Roxroy became the man with a plan, the rest viewed it as a deviation from the loyal player they knew him as. They needed the loyal Roxroy, not the strategic Roxroy, so they voted him out of the game.
Roxroy, the tribe has spoken.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye, Rob.
The second tribal is a whole different story. Initially, the situation also seemed pretty clear in the group of Drea, Jonathan, Lindsay, Marianne and Tori. Tori has been distrusted for so long, and for the first time in the merge she isn't immune. Winning the immunity challenge has given Jonathan the confidence to make a move. He wants to target Drea. She is one of the best positioned players with a lot of advantages in her pocket. The problem is not the idea, but the execution. Jonathan wants Marianne as a decoy vote. He is so worried that Tori will flip that he doesn't take into account what happens if Marianne and Drea play their idol. Lindsay points this out, but Jonathan doesn't handle pushback well. Thus far, Jonathan has been doing a good job socially, but he's fumbling here. He's alienating allies within his Taku 4. Allies he desperately needs to protect him when he's not safe. Arriving at Tribal, Drea sees Roxroy on the jury and catches on that she might be the target, even though she does so for the wrong reason. As the Tribal goes on, not only Drea but Marianne as well decided to play their idol. Probably a good decision for both. Drea was actually the target and she still has enough advantages in her pockets. Marianne was looked at because of her idol. The idol was a brick around her neck dragging her down. I think both will be better off without their idol, even though they misplayed it. Drea, Marianne and Jonathan are safe, leaving Tori and Lindsay as possibilities. Tori is screwed at that point. The rest has no reason to vote at Lindsay. Tori tries her shot in the dark, but no luck. She becomes the third member of the jury. This was a long time coming for Tori. From episode 1, Tori was fighting from the back, trying to stay in the game. First impressions matter in Survivor, and Tori presented herself as scheming and untrustworthy. That's not an easy impression to shake. She also didn't do herself any favors. She comes off very strong and unrelenting, getting on the nerves of her tribemates. That being said, she never gave up. She knew where to pivot to survive and managed to win 2 immunity necklaces. In the end, Tori ran out of runway and she crashed and burned in episode 9.
Tori, the tribe has spoken.
It was a stacked and highly emotional episode. Just like that, we're at final 8, with still many contenders for the win. It's big move time, and I expect the big players to target each other. Who will strike first? Let me know what you think, drop a like if you like, and I'll see you next time.